I'm John Giovanni, and this is my profile in color.
She told me just let it end. My homie, my best friend, I wish we can do it again. All innocence, no sin. Started clipping loose ends. Down the ride, true friends. She would help me count the bins up. Never switch up. She was the water to my hiccups. When I freestyle, she would be the one to sit up. I felt if she was the one to give a big fuck. Me and her was chilling. Honestly, it was just us. One day, yeah, I wanted more. That feeling can't ignore. She was the one that I adore. See what the future got in store. She had a nigga, but I snatched that. Cause when she throw it back, I wanna be the one to catch that. I just friends. See, honestly, it's time to scratch that. Put us on the path to go straight and never backtrack. Confess my real love, and I told her how I'm feeling. And reciprocated feelings had a connection. But one day that shit started tripping.
I'm 17. I'm from Detroit, Michigan. And I'm just a kid that had a dream, you know, something I wanted to do, and it's just like life seemed like it wasn't gonna allow me to do it, you know, going through certain stuff in life. But you know, I tried to overcome those things because, you know, where I'm from, there's not a lot of opportunity. You know, you just kind of like guys like where I come from, they end up in debt or in jail. So it's like I had to want something better for myself. You know, I wanted to build something for the kids that come after me. You know, I was born in nothing, but I wanted to leave a lot behind. I was born in Warren, and I was raised in Detroit, Michigan. And I moved around a lot when I was a kid, you know, because my mom got a job down south, and she was from down south, so we decided to go down there. And it was just me and my older brother. You only had one older brother, so we were 6 years apart. So as far as like, you know, seeing stuff at a young age, I always seen stuff. He always tell me stuff that would happen. And it's like household stuff, you know, going through a lot, you know, dealing with a lot, trying to cope with everything, really. And then when I finally like got settled for real, I was probably in middle school. I say probably like 7th to 8th grade when we finally like stayed in the house for longer than like 2 years. So that's when I finally got stable, and that's like where I really picked up, you know, the John Giovanni stuff and really started getting into the music, like part of my life pretty much. Well, I got the name John Giovanni from my real name is Jonathan, but everybody called me John. And as I got older, I was like, okay, when I want to start doing music, I want to add something, have something unique about myself. So as I was doing some research and everything, trying to find something that fit me, I seen Giovanni. And I wanted to find out what it meant at first. So I looked it up in different words. And in Italian, it means God is gracious, you know. And it's actually John in Italian. So my name in Italian is actually backwards, it's Giovanni John. So John is like the person that I am, and Giovanni is the person I inspired to be. So at the end of my career, I can say that I became John Giovanni. You know, I'm John and becoming Giovanni. That's where I got that from. So yeah, it's just one of the best years of my life was 8th grade. I can never forget that, because that's where I really came up with the name John Giovanni in 8th grade. And it's some of the best memories. Like, you start to live and experience a lot more, you know, once I hit 8th grade. I think it's my favorite memory. I started a business back in 8th grade. You know, it was like, then I had money, so it was like I always can just get everything that I wanted. I didn't have to ask my mom for anything. That was just like one of the best feelings, like, you know, feeling like having some sense of responsibility and taking care of myself. This is in 8th grade. The business that I started was like everybody loved to eat, everybody. So I think it was one day mistakenly. I was driving to school, and the person that dropped me off, they had a box of cookies. They was like, just take these and pass them out to your friends. So I'm like, okay. So I get to school and I'm passing cookies out, and somebody was like, how much for the cookies? I'm like, what you mean how much? I'm just giving them away. He was like, oh, for real? It's like, give me this certain amount of number and I'll give you a few dollars. I'm like, oh, wow, for real? So I went to school initially like, passing the box of cookies out, and came home with $16. And that $16 was so like significant, because it's like, that was like the first time I made some actual money on my own, you know. And of course I was in 8th grade, so I couldn't have a regular job. So from there, I just kind of ran with it. I started buying chips and stuff, and juice and all candy and all kinds of stuff, you know, just going back to school, selling it, you know, making my money, saving my money, you know, and it got to the point where I bought an iPhone in 8th grade. You know, it was going so good. And, you know, when high school started, I just started expanding more and having people work for me, you know, helping other people that can't get jobs at a young age, you know, put money in their pockets so they got to really ask their moms for anything, you know. So it's been really successful, you know. And like when I started music, I had to like alternate between the business and music because, you know, like got to keep money in your pocket when it comes to this music stuff. So my passion for music came about through hardships, like dealing with so much stuff in life at a young age that not a lot of kids should have to deal with, you know. I think it was maybe the summer after 9th grade. I'll never forget because 9th grade was really hard because that's when I got bit by a dog and I got really sick in 9th grade. And me getting bit by a dog was like that was like a life-threatening thing because it was like if I would make one wrong move, like it could have been that could have been it. But thank God I only got bit on my arm. But that dog was vicious. If I would have fell, it would have been really bad. But you know, dealing with a lot of stuff like at the time. My dad, he had went to jail, so it was dealing with a lot of stuff like Jesus Christ, like now it's just me and my mom, and we had a family business, and he ran the family business or whatever. So my mom, she had all of that pressure to, you know, take care of everything on her own, and she still had me, and I was in like 14, 15. So it was just a lot of stuff, just going on, like a lot of family issues, and it was just like one day I remember I was in the computer room and I was just freestyling, just getting everything off my chest, and my mom, she heard me, and then I went and had like a long talk with her, and I was like, she was just asking me a lot of questions because there's a lot of stuff that was going unsaid, you know, just like because I didn't really want to talk about it. Music was my way to cope with it. A lot of my hardships were a lot of family issues. Dealing with a lot of family stuff. My family dynamics is a lot different from most people, and it was hard to talk to people about it because it's like that's the stuff that's going on in your household. You don't want to really put your business out there like that. So the only person I was really talking to was my brother. I wouldn't even talk to my mom or my dad, and it was just going through that was just like really difficult because like, you know, a lot of people don't realize the stuff that goes on in your household really starts to take a toll on you, like your mental well-being. And it was just, we moved around so much, so it was hard to become stable. It was like every time I started to make friends, it's just like I would have to move. And like I'm just tired of moving, man. It's just crazy. And like coming up, like we didn't have too much at all. Like I pretty much grew up like poor up until like I got to like the end of middle. Once like a family business got running, like we were pretty much poor. So it was like stuff was limited. So like it was like you didn't have the benefits like most other kids had. So we had to make a way, you know. And just you know, I used to get sick a lot. Like I had surgery back in I think I was in middle school if I'm not mistaken, or elementary. No, I'm sorry, I was in elementary school when I had surgery. I had an appendix surgery. And my appendix, it was inflamed, and it was gonna burst in my stomach, and it would like rupture my organs and whatnot. So that was like the first life-threatening thing. And then I had got this real bad case of pneumonia, and like I didn't know until after I got it and I got older that people actually die from pneumonia. And like it was, I know dealing with that was just like difficult because I was always in and out the hospital. Then and plus I broke my leg, broke my foot too. Just that was crazy. So I was like it never felt like every year I was always in the hospital for something like major. Me, I started to notice my dreams progressing probably, matter of fact, I can give you an exact example. I released the first single off of Patience. It was called Gas. And I got this email. I got this email from these people named Entourage. And I looked it up. I'm like, what is Entourage? I've never seen it before because they commented on a post and I got an email. So I'm like, I looked it up on Instagram and everything, and I seen like it's an entertainment and media agency that was verified. I'm like, oh Jesus Christ, like that's big. Like so, I was checking them out, and they sent me a proposal, and I'm like, Jesus Christ, like that's crazy. Like I feel like I'm just getting started, and stuff like this is already happening. And actually, before that actually happened, before I released Patience, I started doing these remixes just to like get in the groove, to like get people ready. I'm about to drop the mixtape. So once I dropped the remix, I got a record company, like 3 different record companies sent me an email, and I was like, that's crazy. Like I freaked out when it happened because I'm like, this can't be like real right now. Like that's really crazy. So like, even I think one of them was actually fake because they try to get a lot of artists coming up on stuff like that, but the other one was like, I'm not gonna say the record company name, but it was actually legit, and it blew my mind because like somebody took interest in wanting to like invest into my career, you know. But at the stage I was at right now, I just think that, you know, what I'm doing right now is I want to keep it organic and keep it to myself right now, just until I reach that stage where I feel like, you know, I can take the help to being pushed in like the huge public eye, like that mainstream. But yeah, it was just when I started to get notoriety from like those record companies and entertainment agencies, that's when I realized, like, okay, I'm really here. Like, I'm a real artist. Like, my career is really pushing forward, you know? And all this, I only have, like, I've only released my first mixtape. You know, I did everything by myself, from funding to recording to production and all that. Everything came out of my pocket. So it's like, I'm only one project in, and I got a long way to go. So it's like, just getting that kind of notoriety already was like, it was a true blessing. And I just seen, like, this is what God really had planned for me. The inspiration behind Patience is kind of crazy, because when you look at the track list, it's conceptual, you know, and it has a question mark after Patience for a reason. So the first track is called Patience, and I believe track 10 or 11 is called No Patience, and then the track directly in the center, track 8, is called Tables Turn. And as you can see, you go through the track list, the concept flips when you get to track 8, Tables Turn, because Tables Turn is a 2-part song. The first part, it goes along with the theme of patience, and then the second part goes along with the theme of having no patience. And then the rest of the and the last track is a question mark, and it's like me finally making my decision, you know, of like which side do I want to pick. And the crazy part about it is the way I started recording it. I recorded Wait and Tables Turn, the first part of it, the second part of Tables Turn, back in 10th grade, like early stages of 10th grade. I take that back, in 9th grade, I'm sorry. And I wrote this song one day called Patience, and that's where I like, okay, I'm gonna stick with this. This is gonna be the name of the mixtape. But then I wrote this song called No Patience, and I was stuck, because I'm like, how can I have a mixtape called Patience with a song No Patience? And I don't like sitting on music. Like, when I write a song, I want to put that towards the next project or what I'm working on. So I was like, I talked to my mom, and I was like, Mom, I'm kind of stuck, because like, I don't want to change the name of the song, because it's a perfect fit. Like, the tempo matches the name and everything. She was like, put a question mark behind it. I'm like, that's brilliant. And then since then, I took that and ran with it. And, you know, it's like, Patience is just like indirectly my life story, you know, like everything, me dealing with music, business, and all kinds of stuff. It's just like, I had to get to a point where, like, okay, I'm going through life and I'm gonna be patient, but then you get to a point where you just have to like take it and go get it, you know. It's really sometimes you really have to sit and wait, but other times you just gotta get up and go get it and take what's yours. First real performance was, if I'm not mistaken, it was in February. The February before I released Patience. And it was small, probably like 150 people, but this is before I released Gas. And I performed Gas, unreleased song nobody ever heard before. And the crowd was so into it, and I'm like, okay, this is big. Like, this is a great start, like, you know, because of course everybody got to start somewhere. So, you know, it was like a kind of like a neighborhood show with this production studio. They were hosting an event, and this guy invited me to it. So I'm like, okay, that's a great start. That people are like taking interest in inviting me to this kind of stuff. And my first big performance was at actually my high school, and that was like the first big one. Like, it was like 500-600 people, and it was a song I didn't release yet, and the crowd was just so into it. Like, a lot of people performed, but like when I got on stage, it's like the energy just shifted up a whole nother level. And it was like, the song I performed was called Deeper Than Love, and it's not a song that's really like, it's like I look at it like a stadium song. Like, you have to know it word by word for people to really rock with it. But it was an unreleased song, and people were in love with that. And just like getting all the love off the performance is like, I actually like performing better than I like recording, because performing is just like, you can feed off the energy of the people. You know, it's amazing. But yeah, that was my first performance and my first big performance. Like, so my process for making music is like, I start with an idea. That's the first thing, like an idea. It's like, when I get the idea, I try to get a vibe to match the idea. Like, how I want to feel when I'm listening to the song, or like what situation will make me listen to that song. So like, right now, like, I'm working on like 3 projects at one time. So like, everything has to be structured so that you won't like start doing cross ideas on different projects. So like, the one that's in the right stage is like, I already know what kind of vibe I want. So like, I think of the idea and the vibe have to match, and then I put a word to it. And I start with a word, and I always build my songs around hooks. So either the hook will be the first few bars of my verse, or I keep it as a hook. You know, if I want to start the song with a hook, I'll just start it and build the song around there. And then I always do my hooks first, then I do my verses. And the hook is usually, it gives me like the melody. I can like create a melody and like the lyrics I have in my head, because like when I write the music, I play the beat over and over. I start back, I check my times, you know, when the hook starts, when the hook stops, when the verse starts, when the verse stops, you know, which ad-lib goes at 45 seconds on a song, or stuff like that. Like, it's really structured because I want to have everything down to the T. So when I get to the studio, I don't even need to look at my notes or anything. I already know off the back of my head, like, at this time I need to have this drop, you know, this part I need to say this word just like that, you know. The main team that I work with, it all developed, fun fact. My right hand man is KJ. His rap name is KJ Cash. Me and him practically, like, as far as our teenage life, we grew up together. I met him in middle school back in 6th grade at Bates. And we were just cool. You know, he used to play basketball, and then when I started that business, he was doing the same thing. So like we had a common ground. So we just start working together. We was like, my first day going to the studio, that was the person that I went with. You know, we would just sit at the house and write raps all the time. K, we call him, his rapper name is Ben Man K, but we call him K. I met K in middle school too, but I met him in 7th grade. And I was always cool with K. And then he went to Cash with KJ. And it was probably in 10th or 11th grade. K started coming around us more, hanging out. You know, I always hang out with like same five or six dudes. And then K rapped too, and he was good at it. He was really good at it. So just one night we all went out, and I was like, man, I was like, when we dropped K off, I was like, bro, we need to start hanging with K more. He's really solid, man. He act just like us. Like, we need him in our circle. And then it was like, since that day, it's like K, he became like my brother too. You know, he was like him and KJ. Like those, I don't look at them like friends. I look at them like my brothers. You know, and like we do everything together. You know, from music to business to everything. You know, I try to keep close people in my, like, keep my circle real small, because you know it's a lot of potential between us three. You know, to really be something in this world. So my balance between school and music is crazy, because when I first started, it was school, music, my business, and work. So it's 4 different things. I'm like, everything has to get done, you know. And my grades, they always been pretty good. So I was like a 3.5, something around there. You know, school isn't really hard for me. You know, that's like another thing. Like I'm naturally just like smart. You know, I don't really have to study stuff like that. So like what I started to do when stuff really got hectic, I would always do my homework in school. You know, anything that had to be done for school, I'd do it during school hours. And then if I had to work, I would go to work. In my business, I would section that off strictly for the weekends, like Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, you know. And then music is, I had to dedicate time towards music. I had to, like, okay, I had to let everybody know, don't call me, don't text me. I'm in the studio or I'm writing, like, just leave me alone, you know. Tell the homies, like, yeah, I'm not going out this weekend, bro. Y'all go have fun, y'all do what y'all do. But I'm about to sit in the studio and lock in. And I think the hardest part about it is just like sleep. You don't really get sleep at all. Like, every day you wake up, it's something to do. You have something to do, somewhere to go, somebody to meet, you know. And I just tried to section everything off, you know. And I was able to keep my grades up. They slipped a little bit, but I pulled them back up. You know, it was like you had to pretty much prioritize everything, you know. And in my eyes, music was the most important. But to my mom, you know, school was the most important. But I had to, like, I did enough, you know, to keep my grades up, to keep her happy. You know, keep myself on a good path and everything. But like I said, you know, you got to be up for the challenge. You know, if you're not up for the challenge, don't even try it, because it's gonna be too much for you. You know, and like I feel like I made it still, so it's not too much that I can't handle now. So like everything's got to get done. You know, because ain't nobody gonna do it for you. You know, you just get up and make it happen, pretty much. One day, the day I released Patience, May 11th, it was the same day T Grizzly, his debut album dropped, Activated. And I have a friend that's like he's really close to T Grizzly, and one night he was like, I'm going to this meet and greet, like, you should come with, you know. So I'm like, okay, I'll go. And it was after school on a Friday, you know. Patience had just released and everything. It was just a lot of love going around at school. People were just, they were in love with the tape. So I'm like, this is a great day, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna go to this T Grizzly meet and greet. You know, T Grizzly's from Detroit. So I went up there. And I took a picture with T, and I was like, oh yeah, my mixtape just dropped here and everything. He's like, that's what's up, man. Keep doing what you're doing. You know, and I think I gave a CD to his manager, you know. And I didn't think nothing of it. I was just like, you know, just trying to get everything around, because that's when Patience at first just came out. So I'm trying to, like, get the sound as far as possible. You know, I wasn't expecting anything to happen like that, because, you know, my engineer, he actually knows. this is a real famous person, he's a manager, and he had a conversation with him a couple months ago, and he brought me up. He said, next time I talk to him, I gotta bring you up, man, because like what you doing is special, you know. You're, like, you really made for this, and like you got it all, you know. You got your attitude, your talent, your work ethic, and everything. Like you need to be in the industry. Like that's your place for real. And some of the best advice that I ever got was stay true to yourself. That's probably the biggest thing, because you know, music, it changes. It starts when people see your music career progression. It starts to change the people, how they treat you. Like even like when I walk in school now, it's just like they don't treat me like a regular person. I was never like treated like a regular person, because everybody always knew me like for something, you know. But when music really started to kick in, it was like people that like before I like really got some notoriety, like they think I was like already big time famous. I'm like I'm not there yet. I'm just, you know, I'm just making music and being consistent with it. And it's like they start to treat you different. And then it's a lot of people in the industry, they are really like, it's hard to explain, but they're a different type of kind of people. But you gotta stay true to yourself, you know. Always treat people how you want to be treated, because you know you don't want nobody to try to screw you over, because in this music industry is cutthroat. Like I'm 17, you know, so like if I go talk to a record exec, they're gonna try to like, they're gonna think of me like, oh, he only 17, like he don't know what he's doing, but type thing. But just really stay true to yourself, you know. Stay true to yourself and put the music first. Like that's number one. Don't ever try to sell yourself short. Don't try to just make a quick hit just to get yourself boosted up. Like especially with the kind of artist I am, just stay true to yourself, pretty much, and just make great music. Don't make quick music. Make great music, you know, because real music lasts forever. Some of this stuff is here today and gone tomorrow. You know, so that's probably some of the best advice I got. Stay true to yourself and take care of your people. That's the big thing.